So part two here with Jason Grinovich, professional hockey player, Parkland Arena, and remember all the players that were out there.
Oh yeah, there was tons of great hockey players that came through Parkland. It was a draw for everybody. They came from all over the province, and I mean, there was even a crazy guy from California there.
I wonder who. Also, I mean, I could have named probably at least 3 teams full of NHL players. That's how many were out there that I saw over the years. And they'd come
Oh
out
yeah,
in
there
the
was tons, Jack. I mean, that pro game was. I mean, I wouldn't say different every night, but there was tons of pro guys there,
Yeah.
and it was an amazing skate.
Yeah. Do you remember who you played with? Who was your line mates, or did you?
Oh, it changed all the time.
Yeah.
It was, a high-paced. I don't even want to call it a shinny game, but that's kind of. It wasn't, you call it shinny, but then people, get the wrong impression that it was, guys not going hard and just la-ti-da beer leaguers, right? It definitely wasn't that. There was, I mean, there was everybody was out there, Jacko.
Yeah.
There was Todd Marchant was out there from the Oilers, and
Remember
Buckberger.
Mike Comrie?
Mike Comrie, yeah, I do. I played junior against Comrie. So.
And then there was Freddie Olesen.
Yeah.
Boris Mironov was out there. Remember the big Russian ogre?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like at least 6'5" and without skates on. What was his name? Roman Oksuda played for the Canucks. He was out there. He's a nice guy. What else?
There was Chad Cavanaugh, Clint Cavanaugh, the Cavanaugh boys from out in Bonneville here. One was with Florida, the other was with the Nucks.
And then, who else?
Brent Myers was there.
Sheldon Surrey came out a lot. I saw him all the time. Do you remember the one guy? Out of everybody, the NHL player that came out the most was named Nathan Dempsey. He was like the last pick in the NHL draft, and he made it to Toronto. He was a defenseman. I saw him because I used to play every day there, and a lot of guys would go like once or twice a week. Some people did every other day. Everybody had a different schedule, but I remember him. And remember Dave Cooper?
Dave Cooper, yeah.
That guy had the most skill. Out of everybody, I thought his skills were like ahead of his time. He was like a Drew Doughty skill-wise.
Yeah, he was good. Jamie Lundmark was another one that would come out.
Yeah, and who else? Goldie McLennan, remember him?
Yeah,
he was out there all the time.
Yeah, there was a ton of guys that came through that. I would, looking back, it would have been nice to kind of make notes of that. And just,
we didn't really think about even taking a video or camera or anything like that. We were just showing up and playing.
That was what it was. It was you didn't think anything of it, right? It was just you were playing a game, right?
Yeah.
So it was.
Some decent talent. The other thing is people, Parkland Arena kind of remind me of the Boar's Nest in Dukes of Hazzard, where it had the dirt road parking lot. And the bar was on the one side. It had this blue cinder block wall, and you'd go up the stairs to the bar from one entrance. And then on the left side had the 2 doors, and that was the entrance into the rink. And as you walk in, it was just like a bench and just restrooms, and that was it. There was nothing like there. And there was the owner's office, and you'd hit the left, and then you'd open the doors. All of a sudden, boom, cold air would hit you.
It was cold. It was ice cold in that place. Yeah. It was a cool rink. I mean, it was like, honestly, when you pulled up to it, you wouldn't have guessed that it was an arena.
No, it looks like the Boar's Nest from outside. Just the dirt road reminded me of that. But remember, a lot of the NHL guys that we played with wore turtlenecks, and I couldn't figure out why they were doing that. And it was because it was so cold in there. A lot of guys had like the Gretzky turtlenecks. That was a kind of in style back then.
It was. I remember that. Yeah, it was so cold in that rink. It was. You'd come out. You'd get undressed. You're showered. So I mean, you'd have to walk through the arena, which was like -40.
Yeah.
And then you'd go outside, and it was just like hit you like a wall and +35. That was a.
Yeah. I remember you always took the last dressing room, the very end, all the time. I don't know why. That was just a superstition or what? Remember you?
That's just who it was. That was just one of those things. I'm quirky that way, a little bit of OCD, and I always did things the same way. I put my left side on before my right side. Just little things. If I messed something up in that routine, I would legitimately get completely undressed. and start over again.
Oh man,
it was crazy. I don't know, just little quirks, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a clean rink as far as taking a shower and stuff. The rink was clean. Like
it was well kept.
Yeah,
well
kept.
For sure.
Yeah.
The outside, like I said, was ratty, but the inside they did a great job. Like the ice was good. They did a really good job in that place. And I actually went. I was on that side of Edmonton the other day, and I actually went there to see the arena, and they tore it down. It's a kids' park.
It's sad. I mean, that
there's so many memories there of a great place. I wish I could win the lottery and put up a place like that and do the exact same thing.
Place and the same.
Yeah,
design.
$4, 4 hours, and carry on.
Yeah, the bar upstairs was pretty big. It covered both rinks on the like from the back view of the goalie, and it covered both rinks. And there was a lot of tables and chairs, and they had great lasagna, great burgers. They had a pool table, arcade. Not much arcade, just the Bubble Boys, I believe, right?
Yep, I think that's all it was. Yeah, I mean, we frequented that place lots because, I mean, we skated there so much. We would lots of times eat there, and man, I never had a bad meal there. I'll tell you that right now.
No. And it was, well kept. It was clean upstairs too. A lot of guys hung out upstairs after the games, and that's what they.
Well, we'd always stop in for a couple of pitchers of beer and shoot the shit with everybody and see how things were going and hear the shenanigans from the night before and who went where and did what and with who and so it was always a good time. It was looking back as me being so young there. It was kind of, I didn't really think of it at the time just because it was a normal thing. But to look back and see all those NHL guys and getting to interact with them and, they were, you watch them on TV and you think they're superhuman and really they're no different than you and I.
Yeah. I wish we did take a group picture. That would have been fun. I never thought about it, but it would have been cool because it was, I would say about 7 different teams of players out there. So it wasn't just like one. It was 7 different teams. I counted about that.
Oh yeah, for sure. There was there was that one guy. He played in the NHL. He was really skilled too. His last name was Black.
Oh, James Black. Yeah.
James Black.
Yes.
Yeah. He was a really nice guy, skilled guy. Yeah, I think he was with Chicago. Yeah, he was with Chicago, right?
Yeah, he almost didn't want to go to training camp. I'm like, are you crazy? I'll take your spot. And he's like, I love soccer. It's like, I'll go. It's like, you gotta go. It's like, it's you're on the team. Go.
Yeah, it was crazy, but to them it was just a game, and it was some of them you could see it wasn't their passion.
No,
it was what they did. It's what they did growing up. It's how they make their money, and lots of times that's essentially why careers are shorter, right? It's not your passion and. Lots of times it's your parents pushed you, right? Yeah. And you felt obligated to do it. And, there's a great book called Selling the Dream, and it's all about hockey players. And that it's a great read for anybody that wants to read it. And it's about that. It talks a lot about that, how, some guys, they're good at it. The parents just push them. And that heavy push is what causes them, later on in their career to be like, I don't like this, and they shut her down early, or they don't have the drive to train the right way to continue being great.
It's unfortunate, but that's just true. We used to, one thing is, remember on the bench, a lot of stories, like when we sat on the bench to wait for our next shift, and the way that the benches worked, we didn't do a whole full line change. Guy would come off, the next guy would go on and play whatever position. And the thing about it is, on the bench, we chat about the gear, the old vintage gear. We talk about the sticks. That's where kind of we learn all the gear and all the old vintage stuff, what was out there,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was
for
fun.
Sure. And hearing those stories and you know what I mean, just like I said, I some of the shenanigans and stuff. I mean, obviously the game has changed and what they can get away with now, and for shenanigans, but it's just kind of it was great. It was such an amazing experience there, and I honestly I feel like kids these days are missing out.
Yeah, today the hockey's, they're like robots. They play position, just robots. But if you remember at Parkland, when you get on the ice, it's your shift next. Whatever position was available, it wasn't really position. We just played with the flow. Like, you go where it's open and just kind of move up the ice. It wasn't like, oh, shoot, I'm on right wing. Or, no, you just played, and you moved up the ice. It was like completely different than what they would do today, I think. And it was fun.
Oh, I agree with that. I definitely agree, and I think it made us a better hockey player and more creative anyway, because We weren't robots. We weren't trained to be robots back then.
That's what I noticed the difference about playing there was it wasn't just like play one side. You can move whatever way you found open ice and just set people up and make great plays, and it was fun. Never got in trouble for making. We didn't make. I don't know if we made mistakes because it was such a good flow. We didn't nobody really screwed up. Did you?
Well, no, you didn't at that level. Yeah. I mean, it was like I said, it was just a unique experience that it's hard to explain. It's hard. It would be hard for somebody that didn't do it to actually understand what was going on and how cool of an experience that was. Like, kids just don't get together and play. Like, nobody initiates that, right? And that was your good friend there, Jim Thompson. Thompson. Was that right? Yes, yeah, he was the one that organized that. And, and it was, he didn't have to.
No.
He had no reason to organize that. He wasn't even out there.
He came out a couple times, but he was recovering from a shoulder surgery at that time. I think he had a shoulder injury. But he also had a pickup game out here, down in the south by Anaheim. He also organized one out there that I went to. That's where I met him. So that's how I knew of Jim Thompson, was down here in Anaheim.
Yeah.
So he used to have a pickup, and he did it just a few times. Didn't do too many, and then...
Well, you know what? The interest might be a little bit different down there than up here with Canadians, right? We're definitely hockey-driven, a hockey-driven country right now, so always have been, always will be, so to speak. But
yes. Yeah, it was trying to think, the thing that memories come to mind is all the good times of making that nice pass and like talking about it, making the shot, talking about it after, it was good.
And the thing is those guys, just because of the atmosphere, when something good happened and somebody did something pretty, it was, everybody was banging their stick and, you know what I mean? It was, they were happy for you, right? Yeah. It was just, it was different. And you think about it, we all didn't really know each other, right? No. Yeah, but we got to know each other, and today's day, if kids went to play shinny, they probably wouldn't even talk to each other.
Probably not.
Like, even let's talk even at a junior A level. If there was I don't even know if they would go, to be honest with you.
Maybe not. You're right. There were some guys who were quiet.
I don't think they would. Yeah, I don't think they would. I think my kid would be the only one that I could think of that would go, and he'd be hounding people to come so that they had enough players. Like, they're just the passion. I don't think is there anymore. I don't.
Do you think it's from the computer games? I mean, I think, in our time, we didn't have no iPhones. We didn't have no computers. And I walked to the rink. I didn't have no Uber to drive me. I walked 1 mile from that hotel with my bag most of the days, like back and forth. And then and then once I met people, they'd drive, give me a drive, but I wouldn't mind walking with the bag 1 mile. It was exactly 1 mile across on that highway with my hockey bag and 2 sticks.
Oh, and when you say highway, Jack, it was a busy highway. It was a freeway.
It was a 3-lane highway. So I would, make sure there's no cars and I cross. And then the mid path was, grass. So it gives me time to cross to the next side.
It was,
sidewalk. Basically, I'm walking through rain some days, thunderstorm, gopher hole. Because it was all grass, right? It was like a ditch. I was walking through the ditch along the side of the road. Like, it wasn't like a nice sidewalk or anything like that. But this is what builds character, I believe. And it made me, strong to carry the bag and get it to the rink.
Well, but you think about the passion and love for the game that you had back then and you continue to have. And that's why you're successful and Hockey Alley's the best in the business is because you maintain that passion for the game. And I see it. I watched what you did with my son and
thank you.
You know what I mean? The improvements he had and hearing the stories and hearing us talk and about how we loved it and now I can't get that kid off the ice.
Well, that's what you want.
Well, that's what you want. Yeah. It's
don't push
I remember through the pandemic here, obviously in Canada we were fully shut down and the only thing open was the outdoor rink and man, I would drop him off there at 10 o'clock in the morning and I'm talking cold, like it's winter time. It's an outdoor rink, like probably 15 below. And I'd say, okay, I'll come pick you up in an hour. And I'd get there and he's like, no, I'm not leaving. And it'd be like, it'd be like 3 o'clock, he'd be skate for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, we got to go. And he's like, no, call grandpa. So because we live out of town and so I would call his grandpa who lives in town and just like he's at the outdoor rink. Like I can't get him off.
Yeah.
He's like, don't worry about it, I'll get him. So he would go and he would walk to wherever he'd walk to and call grandpa. Grandpa would, and it'd be sometimes he'd skate for 7 hours with his buddies on the outdoor rink. Like he, it's that to me was what I'd I love about the game, and I can see those kids that are out there, and for him, he was out there for 7 hours. Yeah. Most of the kids would come and play around for an hour or so, and then they'd take off because it was cold, and he just wouldn't leave the ice.
Well, at least they showed up, right, Jason?
Well, at least they showed up. Yeah,
they could have been home on the computer playing their video games all day.
Well, and that's a lot of it too, right? Yeah. The Insta tweet and Snapograms and all that stupid stuff that's in the world today. That it distracts the kids from what's important,
I
right?
Think so.
And it's like, well, why don't you phone your buddy? I'll just Insta snap him, and it's like why don't you pick up the phone? Like, call him, talk to him. Like, it just doesn't work that way. And I think it's a distraction, a heavy distraction.
Pretty much.
At all facets. I mean, this young generation is now into the NHL, and you hear about them playing all these video games and this, and it's like, man, like why wouldn't you go hang out with your buddies? Do they not understand the shenanigans that they can do and get away with? That
No.
It's hilarious. That's a memory.
Yeah.
Playing Sega or whatever they have out now.
Sega.
Whatever the new video games are out for the kids nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, they'll sit there and play that, and it's like, man, that is not fun.
No, it's boring.
Like, you could be doing so much cooler stuff and making actual memories versus, hey, do you remember that time I beat you in Sega? Like, you're not going to remember that when you're...
You took the words out of my mouth. There was a guy, Kelly Rudy showed up to Parkland one day, and there was this one guy with sweats, and he had the Cooperalls and his sweats over, and he's taunting him, and he's like, I beat you in Sega. I kicked your ass in Sega. And Kelly Rudy was pissed. I was like, oh man, that's not good. That was the funniest thing. It's right in front of everybody on the bench. She's like, I kicked your ass in Sega. So he brought Sega up. I remember that one. But yeah, it's a lot of video games out there, and the kids, I guess it's a different way of thinking, it's a lot internet and...
Yeah, it's a different world. Like I know with my son, it's we very much limit all of that, and it's no, man. You don't need to be on that all day. You can have an hour, and if you want to do that hour all at once, have at it. But you can go and shoot pucks. You can lift weights. You can go run. You can play outside. You can hop on the side by side and go tour around the trails. And you get out of the house and do something. Be active.
Well, that's what most of the guys did. Those guys that we played at Parkland, most of them would go and golf after the hockey. Some would go lift weights. Some would go out to eat. Would hang out with the group. I mean, our group was about 5 to 10 people after a hockey game. Red Robins, remember we went there?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't just like us. We'd like, hey, who wants to go with us? We're going here, and certain people like, I got to go to this place, and others like, all right, I'll come along. We'd go and hang out.
Yeah, or swinging around. Who wants to swing around? And you know what I mean? And it's we filled our days with awesome stuff.
We were busy.
Yeah, like I remember, we used to go to that one golf course.
Oh yeah.
And we'd sneak on. I don't remember what the golden something or another. We'd sneak on in the second or third hole or whatever, and then golf to 17, and then leave. And you remember when I got hit with that golf ball?
I remember, and the guy
drove it off the tee and smoked me. It was a long drive, and smoked me in the calf, and I teed it back up and just pounded it right back at him.
Well, he was hitting into the other golf course. He must have been a terrible shooter. I mean, I think Shooter McGavin would have done a better job. It's kind of like the guy missing the net and hitting above the glass. It was kind of like that bad, or no, hitting the goal line in the corner, from straight on.
Yeah. Yeah, he was I remember that.
Yeah, that was not good.
I was so mad at that guy. I was like, and the only reason I was really mad was because I thought I wouldn't be able to skate because it hit me right in the calf and I could hardly walk. But I still figured out how to skate that night. But
you did get that ball back pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, I sent her back to its home. Yeah,
there was a driving range off of the highway too, diagonal from my motel.
Yeah,
and it was we used to go and hit balls there. I don't know. Did you come with us for that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, right? That's actually still there. Still there. That driving range is still there.
Oh, okay. Brant took me once there. That's how he got to know that place. Like, oh, this is cool. We can do this. And,
that big ogre here probably hit a ball 4,000 miles.
Yeah.
He was a big man.
Yeah,
he was a big man.
Yeah.
So and the funny thing about him was he was a killer. Like he was tough.
Yeah.
But he was just the softest, nicest, kindest guy off the ice. Like he was just a good person, and you'd never, knowing and seeing him play the game without knowing him off the ice, you would think, man, like this guy is just a gnarly dude. And no, man, he was, he had his tattoos and his things that made him look badass. But I mean, really, he was a soft teddy bear off the ice. Like just
on the ice, on
the ice, it was go time, right? It was like, what's that arm wrestling movie? Over the Top?
Yeah. Where,
the hat goes backwards and Sylvester Stallone there, he turns into a beast mode, right? And it was kind of like that when the bucket went on. Brant, he was a different cat then.
Brant wore his IHL jersey all the time at that 1995 year. He won the Turner Cup and in the IHL, and he was wearing that home jersey all the time. He had his Tampa Bay pants on, but he had that Atlanta Knights home jersey on. And
good for him.
I remember picking up this one guy and just tossing him like a bale of hay. I don't know what the guy did to him. He must have poked him in the wrong areas on the ankles. He's coming by. Yeah. And Brant picks him up from the back of the jersey where the numbers are, two-handed, and he turns around, turns to the left. He was going to stay straight. He turned to the left and spun a 360 and slammed him sideways into the board. Like he went flying sideways into the board.
Well, he was a horseman. Like that guy was.
And then he kept skating with the puck.
Like a WWF wrestler or WWE now. Like
he could have been in that for sure. But the funny thing was he had the puck. The guy was poking at his feet, trying to get it as he's coming up through the mid zone. And he just grabbed him from the back of the numbers and turned around and spun him. And the guy flew sideways, and then he just kept going with the puck like nothing happened. It was the funniest thing. I'm like, oh, man, Brant, why did you do that? He's like, oh, he pissed me off. I said, what did he do? I mean, I think he was poking at his ankles. Like he couldn't get the puck because Brant had a long reach, and he was like trying to poke at his ankles. And he just didn't like that. It was funny.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? As good of a game as it was, There was still the odd wiener head out there that would do something stupid, right?
Yeah, but not often. I didn't see anybody.
No, it wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't often, and there was always, and usually it was never an NHL guy or a pro guy. It was kind of working their way to get there kind of guy, like a good hockey player, but obviously not there. And there was always spot fillers right in there, and it was always one of them trying to prove a point and going a little bit too hard, and it got ended very quickly.
Yes. Nobody would.
So, and you know what? 99% of the time, that guy was never invited back.
Probably not. He's not coming back for sure.
No, it was like, nope, not happening. Get out of here. Beat it.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, most of them were cool, like very respectable people. Jeff Sanderson was out there. He was a 50-goal man.
Yeah.
He came out a lot. Damian Lanka was another one that was pretty cool. He was really nice. He used to come out.
Oh, I forgot about him. Yeah.
He played a lot. Yeah. There was a lot of IHL American League guys. A lot of them, you don't know the names because, I mean, the faces are not recognizable, but they were pros. Like, I don't know everybody. There was no internet back then to kind of know everybody's face, but there's collegiate players would come out. You just look at the gear, you'd know where they're from or what jersey they were wearing, kind of.
Oh yeah, for sure you would. And I mean, you think about that in the game of hockey, and you think about how the scouting world has changed.
Yeah.
Back then, those scouts scouted.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't, like, they were on, like, it wasn't, well, hey, I'm on the internet, and I'm finding this guy, and then I can watch highlights of him, and, see whether he's worth watching, and, well, this guy's got a ton of stats, so, he's probably good, so we'll go watch him. Well, he's putting up numbers. Well, how do you deny that, right? Like, it's changed the game, and especially in the scouting world. I mean, that would be a whole nother segment to get into because it's just it's crazy. It's crazy on how the game has changed, and I would almost say it's gotten harder for the scouts. Not necessarily for road time, but it's gotten harder for them because it's the internet, it's the you know what I mean. Like you're drawn into something, and then you get sewered in by what you see to go watch the kid, and then he's nowhere near what because it's TV versus live, right?
Live.
You get a whole nother perspective of what a player is live from watching those intangibles.
Completely different.
Anyway, that's another.
We'll be talking about that and more stuff, more controversial, whatever. This is my channel. This is what I'm gonna do. It's talk about what I have seen or what I think, and same with you. You voice your opinion or whatever you want to say. A lot of it, we have to talk about what we see. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But it was a good segment to talk about Parkland. I definitely missed that place. And,
we all do.
Yeah. Good talking to you, Jason. Have a great day.
Okay, bud, you too.
Thank you.